For the past 9 years, I've been tracking commodity markets and supply chain disruptions for my family's small farm operation. And here's what nobody's talking about. While everyone's panic buying the same obvious stuff after every scary headline, I've been quietly watching what commercial food suppliers are actually worried about. The 2026 harvest reports that came out last month show crop failures in 3 major growing regions that most people don't even know exist. Number 14 on this list is sitting at your local ethnic grocery store right now for under $4. And when the mainstream prepper crowd figures this out, it'll be gone in days. The problem is that when everyone reads the same blogs and buys the same rice and beans, that's exactly what gets cleared first. Back in March 2020, I watched people fight over pasta while the Indian grocery 2 blocks away had 50-pound bags of an even better staple fully stocked for weeks. Before you click away thinking this is another prepper panic video, I'm showing you 22 specific items that will absolutely double in price once the harvest data hits mainstream news, and most of them you've never heard recommended anywhere else. If you're tired of generic advice that puts you in the same grocery aisle fistfight as everyone else, hit subscribe right now, because this is going to change how you think about food security forever. Let's start with number 1. This is going to sound like I'm making it up. Dried chickpeas. And before you say that's the most obvious thing in the world, hear me out, because most people are doing this completely wrong. The harvest reports show that the primary chickpea growing regions in India and Turkey got hammered by irregular monsoons and drought. Production is down 31%. Right now, a 5-pound bag costs between $6 and $9 depending on where you shop. A year from now, that same bag will be $18 to $22. And I'm not exaggerating. Here's what happened in my house last year. I bought 40 pounds of dried chickpeas in January for $36 total. By November, that same brand was $14 for 5 pounds. I saved over $70 just by buying early. And here's the part nobody mentions. You don't need to eat hummus every day. Chickpeas are the most versatile legume that exists. You can roast them as a snack, grind them into flour for pancakes and flatbreads, boil them into stews, or mash them into burgers. 1 cup of dried chickpeas becomes 3 cups cooked. That 5-pound bag is actually 15 pounds of food. Meanwhile, people are buying freeze-dried meals at $6 per serving that tastes like cardboard soaked in salt. And here's why this survives a shortage. Most panic buyers think beans mean pinto or black. They walk right past chickpeas because they don't know what to do with them. That's your advantage. Look, food prices are rising faster than most people can track, and trying to figure out what to stock feels overwhelming when every video tells you something different. I've done the research for you and put together a free emergency pantry priority list that shows the exact 12 categories you need to cover first, ranked by price stability and nutritional density. It'll feed a family of 4 for 3 weeks and costs less than 1 week in a takeout. You can grab it free at the link in the description, so you can stop second-guessing every grocery decision and start building real food security that actually makes sense. Number 2 is one I only learned about 3 years ago, and I felt like an idiot for missing it my entire life. Dried lentils. Red lentils specifically. Here's why red lentils are different. They cook in 15 minutes with no soaking. Every other dried bean requires hours of soaking or pressure cooking. Red lentils go from bag to table faster than rice. The harvest reports show that Canada, which produces 70% of the world's red lentils, had massive flooding in 2 of the 3 primary growing provinces. Yields are down 24%. Right now, a 10-pound bag costs $12 at most Indian or Middle Eastern groceries. That same bag will be $28 to $30 by late 2026. I keep 30 pounds in my pantry at all times. Last winter, during a power outage that lasted 4 days, I made red lentil soup on a single burner camp stove in under 20 minutes. It fed my family, it was warm, and it required almost no fuel. 1 pound of dried red lentils makes about 7 cups cooked. That's 14 servings. You're looking at under 90 cents per serving right now. Next year, that'll be $2.40 per serving. And here's the kicker. Most American preppers have never even heard of red lentils. They're buying green or brown lentils, which are fine, but take 3 times as long to cook. Red lentils will still be fully stocked, while the others are cleared out. Number 3 is sitting in the baking aisle right now, and nobody's paying attention. White sugar. Not honey, not maple syrup, not coconut sugar. Plain white granulated sugar. The harvest reports are brutal on this one. Sugarcane production in Brazil and India is down because of heat stress and water shortages. Beet sugar production in Europe got hammered by late frosts. Combined global output is down 18%. Right now, a 10-pound bag costs about $6. By mid-2026, that's hitting $14 to $16 minimum. I bought 100 pounds last month and stored it in food-grade buckets with gamma lids. Total cost was $60. A guy I know who works in commodity distribution, 23 years in the business, told me sugar is one of the first things that doubles when supply tightens because it's in everything. It's not just for coffee and cookies. Sugar is a preservative. You can make jams, cure meats, preserve fruit, and extend the life of almost any food with it. It's also pure energy. In a crisis, calories matter, and sugar is the densest calorie source you can store. It never goes bad. Never. I've got sugar in my pantry that's 5 years old. Still perfect. And here's why this works when everyone panics. People think of sugar as a luxury or a vice. They'll clear out the rice and pasta first. Sugar stays on the shelf until it's too late. Number 4 sounds boring, but it's absolute gold. Dried pasta. And I know you're thinking that's the most obvious thing ever. But stick with me because there's a specific type everyone misses. Not spaghetti. Not penne. Orzo. It's a rice-shaped pasta. The wheat harvest reports out of Europe and North America show a disaster. Durum wheat, which is what pasta's made from, is down 29% because of drought and early heat waves. Pasta prices are going to explode. Right now, a 1-pound box of orzo costs about $2. By next year, it'll be $4.50 to $5. I stock orzo instead of regular pasta because it works as both a pasta and a rice substitute. You can put it in soups, stir-fries, casseroles, salads, or eat it plain with butter. It cooks in 9 minutes. Last summer during a camping trip, I made orzo on a portable stove, and it was faster and easier than trying to cook rice over a fire. 1 pound feeds 4 people as a side dish. That's 50 cents per person right now. Next year, over $1 per person. And here's the secret. When the panic hits and people storm the pasta aisle, they grab the familiar shapes. Spaghetti rigatoni, shells. Orzo sits there untouched because most Americans don't even know what it is. That's exactly why you want it. Number 5 is one of the smartest foods you can store, and almost nobody does. Canned coconut milk. Full fat, not the light stuff. The harvest reports on coconuts are grim. The Philippines and Thailand, which produce most of the world's coconut products, got hit with typhoons and irregular rainfall. Production is down 16%. Right now, a can of coconut milk costs about $2. Next year, that's jumping to $4.50 or $5. Here's why this matters. Coconut milk is fat, and your body needs fat. Not wants, needs. In a shortage situation, everyone focuses on carbs and protein. But without fat, you'll lose weight, lose energy, and your brain stops working right. 1 can of coconut milk has 45 grams of fat. That's more than most people eat in a day. I use it in soups, curries, oatmeal, coffee, and even scrambled eggs. It makes cheap food taste rich. During a week last year when grocery money was tight, I made a pot of lentil coconut curry for under $8 that fed my family for 3 days. The coconut milk made it taste like restaurant food. And here's the storage advantage. Canned coconut milk lasts 3 years minimum. I've opened cans from 4 years ago. Still perfect. And when panic hits, people grab canned vegetables and canned soup. Coconut milk stays on the shelf because most people think it's a specialty item. It's not. It's survival fat in a can. Number 6 is going to sound weird until you understand what it does. Nutritional yeast. Before you roll your eyes thinking this is vegan hippie food, let me explain. Nutritional yeast is a complete protein, and it's loaded with B vitamins. A 2-tablespoon serving has 8 grams of protein and over 600% of your daily B12. The harvest reports don't directly affect this one, but here's what does. It's made from molasses, which is a byproduct of sugar production. With sugar production down, molasses prices are spiking and nutritional yeast is going up with it. Right now, a 1-pound bag costs about $12. That's going to $30 easy by late 2026. I keep 3 pounds in my pantry at all times. Here's what I do with it. Sprinkle it on popcorn, mix it into mashed potatoes, stir it into soups for a cheesy flavor, or add it to scrambled eggs. It tastes like Parmesan cheese, but it's shelf-stable for years. Last month, I opened a bag I bought 2 years ago. Still perfect. And here's the real genius. In a long-term crisis, B12 deficiency is a serious problem, especially if you're eating a grain-heavy diet. Nutritional yeast solves that. 1 bag provides months of B vitamins. Meanwhile, preppers are spending $200 on multivitamin stockpiles that degrade in 3 years. This works better and costs less. Number 7 is sitting at your local Asian grocery right now for under $3, and it's one of the best foods on the planet. Dried seaweed, specifically nori sheets, the kind used for sushi. The harvest reports don't touch this one yet, but here's what's happening. Fuel costs for fishing and seaweed farming boats are spiking because diesel prices are tied to the same supply chain chaos hitting food. Seaweed is going to follow that curve. Right now, a pack of 50 nori sheets costs about $3. By next year, that'll be $7 or $8. Here's a nutrition fact that blew my mind. Just 1 sheet of nori contains more iodine than most people get in an entire week. Iodine is critical for thyroid function, and if you're not eating seafood regularly, you're probably deficient. I eat 1 or 2 sheets a day as a snack. You can also crumble them into rice, soups, or salads. Last winter, I made rice balls wrapped in nori for my kids, and they loved it. 50 sheets costs $3. That's 6 cents per serving. And here's why this survives panic buying. Most Americans have never bought nori in their lives. When the grocery store gets cleared, the Asian market is still fully stocked. I've watched it happen 4 times now. Number 8 is one of those things that seems too simple to matter, but it's secretly a game changer. Dried split peas. Not whole peas, split peas. They're already hulled and split in half, which means they cook faster and digest easier. The harvest reports show pea production in North America and Europe down 19% due to late planting and early heat. Right now, a 2-pound bag costs about $3. Next year, that's hitting $7 or $8. I make split pea soup at least twice a month. 1 bag makes a massive pot that feeds 6 people. You don't even need a ham hock or bacon, though it helps. Just split peas, water, an onion, and some salt. 30 minutes and you've got thick, filling soup that costs under $5 total. Split peas are also one of the highest protein legumes. 1 cup cooked has 16 grams of protein. That's more than 2 eggs. And here's the storage secret. Split peas last longer than whole peas because there's no hull to go rancid. I've got split peas in my pantry from 3 years ago. Still perfect. And when everyone's fighting over black beans and kidney beans, split peas sit quietly on the shelf because nobody thinks about them. That's exactly where you want to be. Number 9 is cheap, lasts forever, and solves a problem most people don't think about until it's too late. Bouillon cubes. Chicken, beef, or vegetable doesn't matter. The harvest reports are hitting feed costs for livestock, which means meat prices are spiking and bouillon prices follow. Right now, a box of 36 cubes costs about $4. Next year, that'll be $9 or $10. Here's why bouillon matters. Food monotony causes decision fatigue. Eating plain rice and beans every day makes you stupid when you need to be sharp. Bouillon turns boring food into something your brain recognizes as real food. 1 cube in a pot of rice changes everything. I've got bouillon cubes in my pantry that are 4 years old. Still perfect. They don't go bad. And here's the kicker. 1 cube makes 2 cups of broth. That box of 36 cubes is 72 cups of broth. You're paying 5 cents per cup right now. Next year, that'll be 13 cents per cup. Meanwhile, preppers are buying freeze-dried meals at $6 per serving. This is smarter. Number 10 is one I only started buying 2 years ago, and I wish I'd known about it a decade earlier. Dried mushrooms. Shiitake specifically. The harvest reports don't directly hit mushrooms, but the same fuel and logistics costs are driving prices up across all dried goods. Right now, a 4-ounce bag of dried shiitake costs about $8. Next year, that's going to $18 to $20. Here's what makes dried mushrooms incredible. They're pure umami. That's the savory flavor your brain craves. A handful of dried mushrooms in a soup or stew makes it taste rich and satisfying even if there's no meat. I rehydrate them in warm water for 10 minutes, chop them up, and toss them in everything. The soaking liquid becomes instant mushroom broth. 4 ounces dried makes about 2 pounds rehydrated. That's 16 servings. You're paying 50 cents per serving right now. Next year, over $1 per serving. And here's the genius. When panic buying hits, people grab canned goods. Dried mushrooms are in the international aisle, and nobody's even looking. Number 11 is so cheap, right now it feels like cheating. White rice. And I know you're thinking that's the most basic prepper food ever, but here's what you're missing. Not all rice is the same. The harvest reports are devastating. Rice production in Asia is down 22% because of water shortages and heat. India just restricted rice exports. This is serious. Right now, a 20-pound bag of white rice costs about $15. By mid-2026, that's going $35 to $40 minimum. I bought 200 pounds last month and stored it in 5-gallon buckets with oxygen absorbers. Total cost was $150. A year from now, that same amount will cost $400. White rice lasts 30 years if stored properly. Longer than you, or I will be alive. And here's the part people screw up. They buy brown rice thinking it healthier. Brown rice goes rancid in 6 months because the bran layer is oils. White rice is shelf-stable forever. In a real crisis, shelf life beats nutrition. You need calories that don't spoil. Number 12 is one most people think of as a luxury, but it's actually a survival food. Olive oil. Extra virgin, the good stuff. The harvest reports on olives are terrible. Southern Europe got hit with heat waves and drought. Olive production is down 27%. Right now, a 1-liter bottle of decent olive oil costs about $12. Next year, that's jumping to $30 or $35. I bought 6 bottles last month. Total cost $72. A year from now, that same amount will cost $200. Here's why olive oil matters. Fat is survival. Your brain is 60% fat. Without dietary fat, you get brain fog, mood crashes, and your body starts breaking down. Olive oil is also medicine. It's anti-inflammatory. It helps with digestion, and it makes cheap food taste incredible. A tablespoon of olive oil on plain pasta turns it into an actual meal. And here's the storage trick. Keep it in a cool, dark place, and it lasts 2 years minimum. I've used olive oil from 18 months ago. Still perfect. When panic hits, people grab canned food and flour. Olive oil sits there because most people think of it as cooking oil, not survival food. Wrong. It's both. Number 13 sounds too boring to be worth mentioning, but it's one of the smartest things you can stock. Dried onions. Not fresh onions. Dried minced onions in a jar. The harvest reports show onion production down 14% because of water shortages in major growing regions. Right now, an 8-ounce jar of dried onions costs about $5. Next year, that'll be $12 or $13. Here's why this matters. Flavor fatigue is real. Eating bland food every day wears you down mentally. Dried onions add flavor to literally everything. Rice, beans, soup, eggs, pasta, stew. 1 tablespoon of dried onions rehydrates to a 1/4 cup of fresh onions. That 8-ounce jar is equivalent to about 5 pounds of fresh onions. And here's the genius. Fresh onions spoil. Dried onions last 5 years minimum. I opened a jar from 3 years ago last week. Still perfect. And when everyone's fighting over fresh produce that'll rot in a week, dried onions sit on the shelf because most people don't even know they exist. Number 14 is the one I mentioned at the start, and it's sitting at your local ethnic grocery right now for under $4. Dried mung beans. Most Americans have never heard of them. The harvest reports show mung bean production in India and China down 21%. Right now, a 2-pound bag costs about $4. Next year, That's hitting $9 or $10. Here's what makes mung beans special. They sprout. You can turn dried mung beans into fresh sprouts in 3 days with nothing but water and a jar. Fresh vegetables in a collapse scenario. No soil, no sunlight, no garden. Just water. I sprout mung beans in my kitchen year-round. 2 tablespoons of dried beans makes 2 cups of sprouts. That's fresh greens from a 70-cent investment. You can also cook mung beans like lentils. They're mild, they cook in 30 minutes, and they're one of the easiest legumes to digest. And here's why this stays in stock. Nobody knows what mung beans are. When panic hits, they'll sit on the shelf untouched while everything else is gone. Number 15 is one of those things you don't think about until you don't have it. Salt. Not fancy sea salt, not pink Himalayan salt. Plain iodized table salt. The harvest reports don't directly affect salt, but the same logistics chaos is driving up packaging and transport costs. Right now, a 3-pound container costs about $2. Next year, that'll be $5 or $6. Here's the thing about salt. It's not optional. Your body needs sodium to function. Without it, your muscles cramp, your brain fogs, and you can literally die. Salt is also the oldest food preservative in human history. You can cure meat, preserve vegetables, and extend the life of almost anything with salt. I keep 20 pounds in my pantry. Total cost was $15. That's a lifetime supply. Salt never goes bad. Never. It's a mineral. And when panic buying hits, people think about food but not seasoning. Salt will get cleared eventually, but it's always the last thing to go. Number 16 is one of the most underrated foods in existence. Peanut butter. The harvest reports on peanuts are bad. Production is down 17% because of drought in the southern U.S. and Africa. Right now, a 40-ounce jar of peanut butter costs about $6. Next year, that's going to $14 or $15. Here's why peanut butter is a survival food. It's fat and protein in one package. 2 tablespoons has 8 grams of protein and 16 grams of fat. That's a meal replacement. It requires no cooking, no prep, no refrigeration. During a 3-day power outage last year, my family ate peanut butter sandwiches for 6 meals straight. It kept us full and it kept us sane. Peanut butter lasts a year unopened. And honestly, I've eaten it 2 years past the date. Still fine. And here's why this works in shortage. People panic buy fresh food and can goods first. Peanut butter is in the middle of the store and gets overlooked until it's too late. Stock it now. Number 17 is cheap, lasts forever, and most people walk right past it. Dry black beans. The harvest reports show bean production down 18% across the board. Right now, a 4-pound bag costs about $5. Next year, that's hitting $12 or $13. Here's what makes black beans special. They're the highest protein bean. 1 cup cooked has 15 grams of protein. That's more than 2 ounces of chicken. I make black bean soup, black bean tacos, black bean burgers, and just plain black beans over rice. 1 bag makes about 12 cups cooked. That's 24 servings. You're paying 20 cents per serving right now. Next year, over 50 cents per serving. And here's the storage advantage. Dry black beans last 30 years in proper storage. I've got beans from 5 years ago. Still perfect. When panic hits, people grab canned beans because they're easy. Dried beans sit there because people think they're too much work. They're not. Soak them overnight. Cook them for an hour. Done. Number 18 is one I learned about from a guy who lived through a currency collapse in South America. Powdered milk. Not fresh milk, knocking milk. Powdered whole milk. The harvest reports on dairy are devastating. Feed costs for dairy cows are spiking because grain prices are up, milk prices are following. Right now, a 1-pound bag of powdered whole milk costs about $8. That makes about 5 quarts of milk. Next year, that same bag will cost $18 to $20. Here's why powdered milk matters. It's calcium and vitamin D in shelf-stable form. Kids need it. Adults need it. In a long-term scenario, bone health matters. I mix powdered milk into oatmeal, coffee, baking, and just drink it straight. 1 bag lasts my family a month. And here's the trick. Store in the freezer and it lasts 5 years. I've got powdered milk from 2 years ago. Still good. When panic hits, people clear out the refrigerated milk. Powdered milk sits in the baking aisle untouched. Number 19 is one of the smartest carbs you can store. Rolled oats. Not instant oats, not steel-cut oats. Old-fashioned rolled oats. The harvest reports on oats show production down 13%. Right now, a 10-pound bag costs about $9. Next year, that's hitting $20 or $22. Here's why oats are genius. They're breakfast, but they're also flour thickener and filler. You can make oatmeal, granola, oat flour for baking, or grind them into a thickener for soups. I eat oats every single morning. 1 cup dry makes 2 cups cooked. That 10-pound bag is 100 servings. You're paying 9 cents per serving right now. Next year, 20 cents per serving. Oats last 2 years minimum in the bag and 5 years in a sealed bucket. And here's why this stays stocked. People think of oats as boring diet food. They grab the sugary cereal first. Oats sit there waiting for someone smart enough to grab them. Be that person. Number 20 is cheap, versatile, and nobody thinks of it as survival food. Canned tomatoes. Whole, diced, crushed, doesn't matter. The harvest reports on tomatoes are ugly. Drought and heat hit California and Italy hard. Production is down 23%. Right now, a 28-ounce can cost about $2. Next year, that's jumping to $4.50 or $5. Here's why canned tomatoes matter. They're the base for 100 different meals. Pasta sauce, chili soup, stew, curry. One can turn plain rice or pasta into an actual meal. I keep 30 cans in my pantry at all times. Last winter, I made tomato soup from 2 cans, an onion, and some cream. Cost $4. Fed my family dinner. Canned tomatoes last 5 years minimum. I've used cans from 3 years ago. Still perfect. And here's the panic buying advantage. People grab canned soup and canned vegetables first. Canned tomatoes are boring, so they sit there. Boring wins in a shortage. Number 21 is the last legume on this list, and it's one of the best. Dried kidney beans. The same harvest reports hitting black beans are hitting kidney beans. Production down 18%. Right now, a 4-pound bag costs about $6. Next year, that's going to $14 or $15. Here's what makes kidney beans different. They're dense. 1 cup cooked is 15 grams of protein and 13 grams of fiber. That's a meal that keeps you full for hours. I make chili, red beans and rice, bean salads, and kidney bean curry. 1 bag makes about 12 cups cooked. That's 24 servings. You're paying 25 cents per serving right now. Next year, 60 cents per serving. Kidney beans last 30 years stored properly. And here's the shortage advantage. People know black beans and pinto beans. Kidney beans get overlooked. They're right there on the shelf while everything else gets cleared. Number 22 is the last one, and it's the most important. Honey. Real honey, not the fake corn syrup stuff. The harvest reports don't hit honey directly, but bee colony collapse and rising fuel costs are driving prices up hard. Right now, a 2-pound jar of real honey costs about $12. Next year, that's going to $25 or $30. Here's why honey matters. It's the only food that never spoils. Ever. Archaeologists found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs. Still edible. Honey is also medicine. It's antibacterial. It soothes sore throats. It helps with wound care, and it's pure energy. I keep 10 pounds of honey in my pantry. Total cost was $60. A year from now, that same amount will cost $150. And here's the survival kicker. Honey is dense calories when you need them most. 1 tablespoon is 64 calories. In a real crisis, that matters. And when everyone's fighting over sugar, honey sits there because most people think it's expensive. It is, but it's also the best investment on this list. While everyone else is fighting over the same tired canned goods and white bread, you now know 22 specific items that are cheaper, easy to store, and will actually still be available when panic buying clears the obvious stuff. You're not guessing anymore. You've got a plan. Drop a comment and tell me which of these you're stocking up on first, because I'm genuinely curious what people are prioritizing. Next week, I'm breaking down the 7 grocery store myths that will get you killed in a real supply chain collapse. including the one item everyone thinks is essential, but is actually completely useless when the power goes out. You do not want to miss that one.